Duramu kita jenasan heru anate jekera nasene ruben
Tuamo Ketefubena Fem Eduakuti Anate Cherkera Neferne Bube
Duramu kita jenasan heru aku anate jekera nasene ruben
Tuamo Ketefubena Fem Eduakuti Anate Cherkera Neferne Bube
Duramu kita jenasan heru aku anate jekera nasene ruben
Duamo Ketefubena Fem Eduakuti Anate Cherkera Neferne Bube
Duramu kita jenasan heru aku anate jekera nasene ruben
Duamo Ketefubena Fem Eduakuti Anate Cherkera Neferne Bube
Harijan Saget Arsach Usu Hep Usu Jet Suatan Shamsuan Nabajer Ersashu Nikabria Dua Asar Nebasel Pau Nakaru Ayat Amin Nateker Anatej Erkekesi Aminat Inaser Arab Abdul Matuchu Aiku Anek Arati Ustav
Siteka Seger Aku Sari Nahas Ube Center Sedge Mka Defta Seed Netter Uni Entet Hinayash Netter Asar Erdit Endet in Audi Hedu Hina Her Me Endes Audi Hedu Aus Hua Tepi Audi Sedge Ab Ua Netter Abupin Ha Asar Abupin Asar Spur M Hedu Audit Pert Nahast Sa Uajek Panater Asar Audi Hedu Het Aset Abu Yen Tuji Medut Yan Aset Sa'am Ujat Sitab Sa Her Seti Enti Sa Asar Sa Set Asar Set Medut Nebahet Hachata Audibasa Her Happy Enti Sa Asar Sa Happy Asar Fu Asar Medut Yan Netzadua Ra Samesher Eru Neb Her Audimat in Duamadev Enti Sa Asar Sa Duamadev Asar Fu Duamadev Medut Yan Circuit in Ka Ke Sekadet Sa Eru Neb Audimat in Kepsinu Ended Sa Asar Sa Kepsinu Asar Fu Kepsinu
Duat arira uasane.
Zuat Adirayim Uatane
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 Nebejer medu anatir erke asa ucha ma isake setsu sakake
Mati Sake Setu Sakake
Nebejer medu anatir erke asa ucha ma isake setsu sakake
Mati Sake Setu Sakake
Nebejer medu anatir erke asa ucha ma isake setsu sakake
Mati Sake Setu Sakake
Nebejer medu anatir erke asa ucha ma isake setsu sakake
Mati Sake Setu Sakake
Arijin spaghetti. Adi, do I care? Hekau, Russian. Amu, mu, kansu,
Amo, mo, konsu,
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 Om Namo Rapata,
Om Amun Rapata,
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 Om Asa Ase Heru,
Om Asar Oset Heru,
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 Heru Makeru,
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 Ase, Ase, Ase,
I'll say yeah, I'll say yeah, yeah, I'll say yeah,
Ase, Ase, Ase,
I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it.
I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say
I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it.
I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say
I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it.
Amarra nete auja tene arine teru
Amahainra nepe ujasene arineteru
amarra nete auja tene arine teru
Amahainra nepe ujasene arineteru
amarra nete auja tene arine teru
Amahainra nepe ujasene arineteru
Amaenda nete apuja tene arineteru juara
Amahainra nepe ujasene arineteru juara
nu atien keperu
nu atin keperu
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 le le tuale desde que eras de mi vez.
Ne duane, se forquiera sinues.
Ne duane, desde que eras de mi vez.
Ne duane, se forquiera sinues.
Ne duane, desde que eras de mi vez.
Ne duane, se forquiera sinues.
Ne duane, desde que eras de mi vez.
Ne duane, se forquiera sinues.
Heteru, 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 heteru,
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 dua tu heru, dua tu keru,
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 dua tu heru, dua tu keru.
nuk nebeje,
Nuk nebejer,
nuk nebeje,
nuk nebejer,
nuk nebeje,
nuk nebejer,
nuk nebeje,
nuk nebejer.
nefer nemcha ena,
Nefer rimtra in ata.
nefer nemcha ena,
Nefer rimtra in ata.
Nefer Remsa Enatan.
Nefer Rimtra in Atan.
Nefer Remsa Enatan.
Nefer Rimtra in Atan.
Makeru Emba Nebeje.
Makeru Yemba Nebjer.
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 Nuk Ua Ua.
Nuk Ua Kua.
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 Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya.
Nukmat. 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 Nukmat.
Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya.
Nukmat. 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 Nukmat.
Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya.
Nukmat. 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 Nukmat.
Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya. Nuk Maya.
Nukmat. 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 Nukmat.
Nu.
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 Newt.
Asa. 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 Asa.
Asa. Asa. Asa. Asa. Asa.
Asa. Asa. a song, a song, a song,
Asa, 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 asa,
a song, a song, a song, a song, a song,
asa, 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 asa,
a song, a song, a song, a song, a song.
asa, 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 asa.
Okay. How jed ua penanifu, erkepe tuembaya, misuno ainho. Oset ua sujaheru, sujamenu, negusen asen asara set, etepi suja, aitu, yesur neshishu nebu, emhu shemu, metmetu, jau set, nebunesh, jerta, uameti, eruku second an out, jesu kem, hena, sekahara, jirit kat, hena, asar, sita, kepru, niru ra, kat nepi, asar kepru, wahai, waker.
Nuk aset, perke u emnayet, ret enu, seter sa meru, enjuhuti, her tepmat, pet ta ater, alset neter nefer, gerpu, ong seski, sd a amint, sa inkin, pu f inin, hau f ready, f nepket, d hitep, f her, ft int in f tawi, or ahai or ker.
Keru, wakeru,
Eru makeru.
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 Nukepra em duau. Ra em au. Temu ame mashe. Nukepra em duau. Ra em au. Temu ame mashe. Nukepra em duau. Ra em au. Temu ame mashe. Oahai. Oake.
Sedges. Neteru. Empa. Moa. Nesinra. Neteru. Empa. Moa. Nesinra. Nesinra. Neteru. 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 Emha. Moa. Nisinra. Nisinra. Ra. Ra. Nisinra. Nisinra. Ra. 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 Neteru.
Inmoha. Era. Kinese. Hati. Moa. Inmoha. Era. Inmese. Hati. Moa. Inmoha. Era. Inmese. More. Om. Ese, ese, ese. Om. Ese, ese, ese. Om. Ese, ese, ese. Om. Ese, 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 ese.
Hello, Jack. Greetings, everyone. Um, so we'll continue with the text that we have started with, and then right after I have two important announcements. The text that we are working with is on the screen, and it is surrounding the teachings and philosophy surrounding the crocodile-headed deity that we refer to as Sebek, one of our gods and among our gods and goddesses. Thus far, we are working through the text and we are down to the third line. And for those of you who are new, these are not intended to be extensive discourses, although it can be, but since it's conjoined with a devotional program, the discourses are not so long. In a proper way of performing a devotional program. But as you all who have been coming have seen, it's a beautifully written poetic expression of devotion, surrender. And so we're here at the third line. One of the wonderful things about this text is that it is so little damaged. There's a little nick here and something over here, but you can still pretty much make out what they're trying to say. So it's nice to work with. That an original inscription with so little damage. So the text goes forward. Now we'll do a reading of the hieroglyphics, or the hieroglyphs. These symbols are referred to as hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphs means written in stone. And each symbol is referred to as a tat, an image or a form that is conjoined with a conceptual idea. These images are concepts. They're not real, they're not absolute realities. But if you think about it, if these are tats, if these are concepts, then what we have here is a conceptual expression of an abstract idea. So there's an idea in the mind that cannot be expressed. And so it has to be conceptualized. And the way you conceptualize it is by writing in hieroglyphs. That's what's going on. And so what does this line say, and what are we to learn from it? Rek, reki, kepertu, net di, ke, un I em, ma, hestu, ke, her, ma, neferu, uben, at, jet. Before I go further, I want to make this larger, just to make sure that we're getting this one right. Okay, there's a little shadow here. Let's see. Oops, where'd I go? So that's Uben. Now if we pull it to the side, Chet Neb, Ari, Entetu, Nebt, Resu, Neteru. Knowledge, Rekreki, knowledge people, Kepetu, at the head, the administrator, the leader, leaders, mistress gives to thee that which exists. Me going through thyself, vessel for purification, libation, thou, personality, on, see, beauties, beatitude, goodness, effulgence, illumination, dignity, person, Lord, causation, causal factor, cause to come to bring about absolute existence, mistress, royal, gods and goddesses, divinities. The people who have knowledge, they are the ones who are at the head of the mysteries and the rituals. This is given to them, or this is given by the mistress to thou, who gives you what exists. As for me, I go by way of holding on, grasping the vessel for libation and praises to thou, meaning to the divinity. This will cause me to be on the path where I see the beatitudes, the goodness, the beauties, rise and become illuminated, which is my dignity, causes me to be dignified, a dignified person in the sight of God. And this causes me to emerge in the essence of the absolute, the mistress. She is the royal amongst the gods and goddesses. So he's saying, he's talking, he's saying, the the uh, the people who have knowledge, they're the ones who are the foremost. They're the leaders of the mysteries and the rituals, and it has been bestowed upon them by the goddess, the mistress, which caused this to come into existence, which caused them to be in this place. And then he says, "But as for me, I go directly to the libation vessel, the path of prayer. I go to the water vessel where purification takes place." And obviously, this is it's metaphorical language. What he's saying is that he goes through the process of the purification of the elements of the mind and soul. And he does this by surrender, by prayers, by chanting the name of God. And here's an interesting convention, because her with the line means on. So what he's saying is that it's an imposition. This process that he goes through is an imposition. What I mean by that is that it causes this capacity to see the inner beauties of the personality to become illuminated, or to rise up, or to be expressed through the personality. So he's saying, you Reki, you guys are the ones who are in charge of all of this, and that's all well and good. The mistress, she has bestowed that upon you. She had brought that into existence. But I have a different way. My way is that I go directly and I hold on to the vessel that causes the cleansing and causes the prayers that will awaken within me these beauties, this goodness, the beatitudes of my personality to come forth. He goes further, he said, but this is what brings about a dignified life, a life that is worth living, a life of dignity, a life of respect. You know, how would it be if you were able to truly respect yourself? Yeah, that's what he's saying. Yeah, he has come to the point that he can truly respect himself. He's that person. And that dignity is seen by the eye of divinity, meaning God is looking down and look at this person. This person is dignified. He is a person that is worthy of respect. And he says that this process, this is a ari entet. Entet is an epithet of the goddess Net. And what it means is being absolute. Goddess Net, she's the goddess that says, you mortal guys, you guys can't see my true form. You guys can't unveil me. You can't undress me because you're living in mortal consciousness. You still have a dual posit to reality. And this reality is phenomenal. It's not even real. And behind her garment is that which is absolute. When you see her in her true form, which is formlessness. She doesn't really have form. She doesn't have form, and that is her mystery that she shrouds with nature, with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your ideas, with the worldly philosophies. All of these are her garments. But he's saying that when he takes the hestiu, the path of libation, that not only does the beauties of his personality comes forth, which it means that these beauties are an expression of God consciousness. That he becomes dignified not only in his own sight, but in the sight of God, in the sight of Neter. And this causes that Adi here is intimating, it means action, but in this context, it is intimating that it is a causal factor. And the causal, this process of holding on to the hestiu articulates a process, and that process is a causal factor. And that causal factor brings about the capacity to discover Entet, being absolute. And he goes about and says that this too is conveyed. And before we go there, we know that we're talking about the formless, attributeless divinity. Because not only does Entet mean that, but it's conjoined also with the scroll, the Medjad symbol. And what it means is that all the expressions of creation are shrouded in the mystery. And that what's laid behind that shroud is her in her true form, which is formlessness, attributelessness. You said that the mistress, who is the royal amongst the gods and goddesses, is she too, she also has conveyed this. So as spiritual aspirants, this is so you should know by now, even if you're working with fellow aspirants and they get upset at you, are you going to go down that road with them? Even if it's a fellow aspirant, you have to be thinking. Or do you want the neferu to come forth in your personality, to your neferu uben, the beauty, the goodness, the sweetness, to come rising through your personality, and that you are able to see that. You should not be living in the dark about who you are. You should realize and know. It's easier, like if you're out in the world and you don't know someone and they want to get into it, it's easier to ignore. But when it gets closer to home, literally, what are you doing? Are you giving sway to anger and hostility, agitation? And those prevents the neferu, uben. But to do that, you have to do like what he said he's doing. He has completely surrendered, and it's wonderful to do and perform the mysteries and the rituals, but what brings you to the truth of enlightenment is surrender. Surrender your ego. Because that's all the ego wants. The ego is in itself a concept, but the concept is fueled by the propensity for creation and movement. And that movement can come in the way of agitation, hostility, angers, jealousies, fears, depression, yearning, wanting, and they cut you off from the Neferu Uben. So what he's saying is, you guys go, do your thing, but I'm here, allowing these beauties to come forth within me. And that's how you, as an aspirant, that's how you have to be. You don't allow the world to bring you down to the world. What you're after is a life of dignity, self-respect. Like even the most ardent egoist, you think that someone like Trump, when he looks at himself in the mirror, that he respects himself? He may be pleased with his nonsense, but does he respect himself? Similarly, when you look in a mirror and that image is reflecting back at you, can you say that you respect yourself? And if you can, then it doesn't matter what the world does, except to the degree that you have to deal with whatever comes up in day-to-day life. But his beauties are so powerful. They're so effulgent. They're so expressive. There is such surrender of ego. He is able to see her form, to see her the way she truly is, to remove her garment and see her nakedness. Because of a life of immortality and peace. He is so good. And what that goodness means in the Hermetic text, good is a metaphor for God or divinity. And so that is what is to happen. That higher consciousness must be in touch with that. And then you're good. So we could go on, we could talk about so many things with this line. They're not discounting the Reki. He said that they're the Kirpitu. They're the ones who are in the front, and the ones who have been allowed to be the leaders and to put forth, and that have been given by the mistress. But even as you do these things, you have to be thinking. You have to be saying, but I hold on to the vessel of libation, and you pour it on yourself. And what you're pouring on yourself is your Shetty disciplines and your knowledge of the teaching. You are already amongst the people that know it. Now it's to the degree of your knowing that is the issue. And that is the issue for all hearts that come into the world. And one last thing, I was saying the other day in one of the classes, forget which one now, we're talking about how degraded a human being can become. A human being can become so degraded, actually, that they're worse than an animal. They're actually worse than animals. And what this teaching is saying is that degradation is so far away. It is so distant. It is so impossible. It is so foreign that it cannot be fathomed. And so you have to conceptualize that within you. Is that the case for you? Is the impurities of the mind so far away that they can't be fathomed? And so that's our short discourse for this morning. And next week we'll continue with line 4. Do we have 3 more weeks? Are there any brief questions? So your term is Ma Neferu Uben, to see my beauties rising. And you live like that every day. And then you'll be a true aspirant who seeks her and her alone, and she'll reveal herself to you. Okay. Yeah, the highest beauty is the dawning of enlightenment in the mind. You know, enlightenment is being able to see through the plurality of existence into the realm of the one. The plurality is the deceptive mode of the mind. Yeah, the mind is the untrained mind is deceiving. And who is it deceiving? It's deceiving you. It's deceiving, I'm not saying you, but it's deceiving the people who aren't into things like this. And it might deceive you sometimes, like the storms of life. Like you woke up that day, you never thought that anything you were going to get angry or anything, but you got angry. And that's because the quality of the mind, its deceptive nature, has overtaken, had become powerful. It's like a wicked magician playing tricks, and all of it is illusory. It's all illusion, but it's deceptive, and that deceptive quality is designed to keep you away from the inner beauties of your personality, and it's designed to keep you from seeing past the plurality of existence. It's the design of the ego. Like the ego has created this delusion, this deceptive nature to maintain its individual status. And so the ego is attacking you on a day-to-day basis. The ego is in a war against you. And it's not going to give up easily. So you have to maintain, like the meditation that we do, you have to maintain your concentration. Once you let your concentration down, the ego is going to attack. So it's not that you are somehow defective. It is that the ego is imposing its will upon you. And so you have to become strong enough to parry the forces of the ego. You're in a true holy war. And that's the Heru and Set battle. You are in intimately Heru, and Set is this deceptive quality of your own mind that is trying to create a condition by which its individual nature can be maintained as a principal concept of your personality. And it's going to fight to no end to maintain that. And so you have to be strong. Okay? All right, so the two announcements. The first one is that we're going to do, or we're planning, we're in the planning phases of a trip in 2020. And if everything goes well, we'll go. And it'll be an emphasis on the Valley of the Kings. So we'll go, we'll see the major sites, the important temples. But how we're planning it is we're going to focus on the Valley of the Kings. So we'll probably spend 5 days near the valley so we can visit every day for 5 days. So there's going to be an emphasis on Kemetic psychology and because when you go into the tombs and the chapels, yeah, you get to see the architectural design of the mystic process of the mind. And so we'll be talking about that. There's a wonderful development that has happened in the planning of the trip, and hopefully it comes through and everything, that would allow for something very nice to occur. So we're seeing what happens. So everyone is invited on the trip. It's not like the medicine trip where only the medicine students could come. On this one, everyone is invited. So hopefully we'll be able to uh, we'll be able to get out the itinerary and everything soon. Okay, so that's Asarmat, Unutmat, and myself are working on that project. You know, hopefully it can come to fruition. Uh, the medicine trip was very nice, and with this trip, we tried to take it a step farther. That's the first announcement. The second announcement is um, for the Shabaka Stone students, I have to run an errand related to the teachings. So we might have to cancel Shabaka Stone today. Does that sit well or does not, or does not sit well? I have to run an errand for the teachings, but it might go into the time for the Shabaka Stone. So I might have to cancel Shabaka Stone for today. Unless you really want to have the class, and then we'll do something else. And then there is a meeting another meeting I have to prepare for with the Hemu. So, and with the Shabaka Stone, I don't want to rush it because we're making history. So I don't want to rush it. So that's why I was thinking of canceling it and picking up next week. Is that okay? Okay, Dua. Because we've been going through very methodically and step by step and taking a long time with it because that's what it deserves. Okay, any questions or anything else like that? So I hope you all enjoyed the discourse this morning, and it causes some reflection on the spiritual process. And you can see these are the feet of the priests and priestesses. And this is their philosophy. This is what they believe in. This is their teaching. And this is what we are trying to follow and to build in our own lives, whether we are here in Canada, wherever we are, so we can have an enlightened life for ourselves and for our community. And so that we can live a life worth living. The normal American life or Western cultural life is not worth living. Is at the end of it is pain and misery always. Look at the movie stars, the rap stars. There's another one that just came out now, in big trouble for molesting girls, underage girls. And this is one of the big ones, making the big money. It always leads to failure because that is not the way. The way was taught to us by Kepeda, written down by Jehuti, passed on to Heru, designed by Asar, infused with wisdom by Aset. That is the way. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful weekend until we meet again. Hit tap.
جواهة
جواهة